Welcome to the Occult Rejects. Today we got a couple of rejects with me, and we're going to be finishing up the CIA release, the analysis of the gateway process. This will be part 3, and I'm sure ending it as well. I'm going to introduce the other people that we got on with us. Eros up. What is going on? And thank you very much again for this idea of this topic. I had a blast.
What's up, Nick? It's great to be here on this lovely Friday night. You guys can check me out on YouTube at Erosup and Twitter at Eros to Ethos. Happy to be here. It's going to be a fun ending, I think.
Yes. Thank you very much. And Ethan, what is going on, sir?
Salute, everybody. Great to be here. This is a really fun topic. I mean, we could spend another year going over this, I feel like. So this has been really fun, is going to continue to be really fun. Ethan Indigo Smith, easy to find online on all the social media, and I appreciate people reaching out, and a few books and many articles out there and more to come. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. And Judith, please, the loon. Let everybody know what's up with you.
Thank you for having me here today. This is a topic I'm very interested in. And you can find me on YouTube under the loon and on X under the loon as well.
Awesome. Thank you very much. I'm glad you joined us. Appreciate it. Oh, yeah. And last week, 2 weeks ago, I think we ended on 27. I guess I'll pull it up too. I think we were sharing it on the screen last time. There we go. All right. We got 28. I'll be totally honest with you, unless any of you remember. I really don't remember what we talked about in the last episode. So, but did we get into the whole Matrix thing already, right? No.
I think I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll just continue off. My bad. I put everybody on the spot. It was too long ago. All right, here we go. I guess. Oh wait, let me put it on the screen too. There we go. Do you need it up on the screen, Eros, to read it, or? Oh, you're muted.
I
can make it bigger.
I got it up on my screen too. Oh yeah, no, that's great. Okay. So we're on section 28, the gateway method. Having put the gateway experience in context by postulating a structural outline of how and why it seems to work, and having shown what it is designed to achieve, the time has come to examine the specific techniques which comprise the gateway training process. These techniques are designed to enable the user of the gateway tapes to manipulate the high energy states, which can be achieved if the user continues to work with the tapes over a period of time. The amount of time required to reach advanced energy states and to fully exploit the techniques varies with the individual. The sensitivity of his nervous system, his general state of mind, and the extent to which he may have previously developed facility in related techniques such as transcendental meditation are all pertinent factors affecting the speed at which he may expect to progress. The gateway process begins by teaching the individual participant to isolate extraneous concerns in a visualization device called Energy Conversion Box. Next, the participant is introduced to a method of encouraging his mind and body to strive to achieve a state of resonance through utterance of a single tone, a monotonous, protracted humming sound that sets up a feeling of vibration, particularly in the head. He engages in this resonant tuning, as it is called, by humming along with a chorus of such sounds that are contained on the gateway tape. Following this, the participant is exposed to the gateway affirmation and is encouraged to repeat it to himself as he hears it repeated on the tape. This affirmation is a statement to the effect that the individual realizes that he is more than merely a physical body and that he deeply desires to expand his consciousness.
Now, have any of you ever used the tapes? Or no? No, we're just talking about
I haven't, but you had mentioned that you did. What kind of humming? Because
it definitely is a humming, and then I did remember a lot of like it sounds like a like pink noise or white noise, a lot of that going on too. And there was things I did notice that isn't always in stereo either.
like binaural.
Yeah, like you'll have like different sounds. Like I'll have one sound in this side. Yeah, it's probably the hemisync. Maybe that was the binaural part. But yeah, you wouldn't have the same sounds. But I do remember a humming. It was almost like kind of like electrical. It's hard to explain. And the conversion box, I remember that. I thought that was longer down the road because I thought if I remember at the beginning, you had like some type of box that you put like your fears into. So like supposedly like you didn't have to deal with that once you went out there. Some shit.
That's like what my friend was telling me too, which is interesting because they do that same type of thing in therapy sometimes. Like, it's kind of
That's a great technique. It reminds me, as you just read, I haven't done the process, but I have dabbled in different meditation techniques. And one I learned actually was related to the hummingbird. And you would actually try to like hum yourself and create a vibration inside your brain glands and meditate. And so you literally were physically getting into your pineal glands and pituitary gland through this humming and vibration. And that whole that whole humming technique just made me think of that.
You know what that just made me? It reminded me of Judith vibrating the God voices, or like the vibrations that you do in rituals.
That's
actually that we would do sometimes before like the Gnostic Mass or whatever. Like after you got, sometimes they would do that, or vibrating the God names and doing the pentagram.
Actually, it's not in that. It's been done actually in when I practiced Wicca. It was also done in that aspect too during meditation. And I was also going to bring up if you go to, there's different forms of therapy, and it sounds similar to some things used sometimes when you go to a therapist that use biofeedback.
I've mentioned that.
And so I'm kind of surprised because that means they probably got that technique from here, using that to help people through therapy.
There is also there's a story about how this guy Monroe started his process or realizing something was going on as he was having vibrations in his whole body, and he even went to the doctor, and he was like, it's just nerves, don't worry. And very much like Kundalini, almost like or chi, you kind of get spontaneous movement, and you get a heat generating buzz, if you will.
Would you consider that the same as if you're doing a ritual? Like, maybe this is me, but I'm sure if you're doing a ritual and you raised enough energy, there is that vibration that happens, and it is like a humming in your ear that only you can hear. Well, yeah. I'm assuming everybody goes through that you hear. So maybe that's another thing they're trying to emulate as well.
Have you ever done rituals, Judith, and after you're done, you realize, like, holy shit, I'm sweating?
I mean,
let's just sound glamorous, but there's been many times where I'm like, holy fuck, like where did that come from?
There are many times I've walked away from. Many times I walked away from rituals being so high it's not funny. I mean, to the point where I have to drink salt water.
Oh shit!
Because I need to ground myself. So I'm thinking when you talk about when they say that, that's what I'm thinking about. It's like maybe I'm misinterpreting. It's like the vibration is so high that you're feeling it that way, and that's how you're feeling.
I've thought about that, like, like they're talking about on here with, like, I guess the sounds being pushed onto you through the headphones. I think when I came across this, it made me wonder about, like, a lot of the vibrations or the Crowley thoroughly suggests you should be vibrating that into, like, exhaustion. Like, they very much focus on vibrating certain sounds. I even wonder if that's why there's even the certain God names or whatever angel names that you're using, or is it just really that frequency you're supposed to be doing to yourself? You're resonating your whole body with that.
If you think about it, sound is it is an activator. If you're having trouble sleeping, what do they say? Get a white noise machine to help relax you. So it kind of makes sense that they would.
Just stuff I wonder about, Who knows? I'll read next. Unless anybody has anything else to say. Let me pull it up on my end. All right, Hemisync introduced. After that, he is exposed for the first time to the Hemisync sound frequencies and is encouraged to focus on and develop a perception of and appreciation for those feelings which accompany the synchronization of brainwaves that results. Next comes the technique of progressive and systematic physical relaxation, while the Hemisync frequencies are expanded to include additional forms of pink and white noise, designed to put the physical body at the virtual threshold of sleep, as well as threshold of sleep, as well as to calm the left hemisphere of the mind, while raising the right hemisphere to a state of heightened attentiveness. Once all of this is achieved, the participant is invited to envision creation of an energy balloon. I remember that one. Comprised of an energy flow beginning at the center of the top of the head and extending down in all directions to the feet. Basically, kind of put yourself like in a bubble. The energy involved in this flow then proceeds up through the body and back out of the balloon pattern again. The energy balloon. That's interesting. That even reminds me a little bit of the middle pillar. Because, like, I think if you do the visuals correctly, you do have like that. You're making some sort of thing come out of you again, like that. A little bit of the same style. The energy balloon, which sets up a pattern very reminiscent of the cosmic egg discussed earlier, not only enhances bodily energy flow and encourages early achievement of a suitable resonant state, but it also designed to provide protection against conscious entities possessing lower energy levels, which the participant might encounter in the event that he achieves an out of body state. I find that interesting that they're like, I guess saying that, does that mean that you're actually like admitting that you believe that there are things out there like that?
Non-physical consciousness.
Yeah, like I feel like they are admitting that exists then. If there's,
I think they talk about it a couple times, actually.
There is a whole layer of this, despite its bureaucratic and observations, that is really interesting in this psychic phenomenon that is in Buddhism and the Bible, the Old and New Testament, all these ideas where it has these non-physical entities messing with you, and then you read something like that in this manual where they say the same thing.
Just last sentence. It serves a precautionary purpose in the unlikely event that the participant's first out-of-body experience involves direct projection outside the terrestrial sphere. That's interesting. Is that telling you like levels, like different depths of like leaving?
I don't think they ever like expand on that, actually.
Well, it reminds me of what Loon just said about staying grounded. When you're grounded, I don't think you're easily as pushed or swayed by such things. And I mean, you could take that any number of ways, being grounded. But sometimes I hear people say like, "Oh, the energy is off today," and it's almost like, "Well, what did you do yesterday? Did you stabilize yourself? Because you probably are feeling ungrounded today because of maybe what you did or did not do yesterday. I always think about anyway.
I wanted to say too, Judith had mentioned drinking salt water. That's so interesting. I find in the winter, it's like very hard for me to ground. I don't know whether it's because the ground is frozen, or usually I rely on going outside in nature, and it's harder to do that in the winter. So I'm gonna have to try drinking some salt water.
I've done that. Actually.
It was a method used living in the city. There's not many places. There's not many, how can I say, parks to ground yourself. So that's a quick and easy way. But I would rather go to nature actually to ground.
I've done the same thing. It was on the altar, and I was like, "Well, it's salt water right here. That kind of makes sense." Just, here.
So should I read the next one?
Yeah. Do you want me to pull it up on the screen for you?
I got it here. Number 30, right?
Yes.
Having reached focus 10, the participant is now ready to endeavor to achieve a state of sufficiently expanded awareness to begin actually interacting with dimensions beyond those associated with his experience of physical reality. This state is called focus 12 and involves conscious efforts on his part, while additional forms of pink and white noise enter the sound stream being directed into his ears from the gateway tape. Once the participant has achieved this state of greatly expanded awareness, he is ready to begin employing a series of specific techniques or tools, as the Monroe Institute characterizes them, which enable him to manipulate his newly found expanded awareness to obtain practical, useful feedback of value for promoting self-discovery and personal growth. The specific techniques involved are described individually below. Wow, interesting. What do you think about the pink and white, Nick?
I did notice that myself when I used the tapes. That was, I think, the difference in the tones. Like, you remember what I was saying, like, even had different sounds. I don't know if it was, I think it might have had pink and white noise in each ear, but I did definitely notice the difference. I heard that they were in there.
I do have a question. I'm familiar with white noise. This is the first time I'm hearing about pink noise. So I don't know if you could describe it for me. What would you consider pink noise?
I'll see if I can pull it up and play it, actually. I'll play it through YouTube. All right. Why not?
It's no longer Google anymore. It's no longer Google it anymore. It's YouTube it.
Yeah. Yep. YouTube it. Here we go.
They're saying that Google sucks now. It's like Google's getting worse.
The AI just made it horrendous for any research. It's awful.
There we go. It's kind of like almost like a deeper white noise. Did you guys hear it?
I can't hear it. No.
I heard it. Yeah, I could.
I heard it for a second. Okay. Oh, that.
I can smell that. I can smell that.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember. Yes, you get that and that white noise for sure. And they even have the guy talking to you too. Telling you, like, it's almost like a guided meditation at some point at the beginning. Yeah. You know that guy? He had. I think it might have been mentioned. That guy had like a fuck ton of like broadcasting companies. Which is really interesting.
Yeah, that's
Jeez. Like a guy who's making tapes and stuff like this also has the means of sending it out through the airwaves. Like, wow.
Yeah, doing heavy sync stuff. Kid knows about hypnosis and stuff. That's not sketch at all.
It makes me think that he was just like so nerding out with different noises, and just like came upon it as he was just playing around with things, but it could be something.
Oh, where'd you leave off?
Because
I took it off the
problem
screen.
solving. Hey.
All right. Do you want me to pick that one up? Oh, no. Judith, you want to go? Want to read that one?
Okay.
Do you
All
want me to
right.
pull it up on the screen for you?
Yes, if you can, please.
Yes, yeah, I got you. Yeah. Oops, screw that one up. Stop screen is screen. Microsoft Edge. Here we go. All right. There we go.
Is problem solving?
Yes.
Okay. This technique involves identifying fundamental problems which the individual wishes to be solved, filling his expanded awareness with his perception of these problems, and then projecting them out into the universe. In this way, the individual enlists the assistance of what Monroe Institute calls his higher self. In other words, his expanded consciousness, to interact with the universal hologram to obtain the information required to solve the problem. This approach may be used to solve personal difficulties, technical problems in the realm of physics, mathematics, etc., practical administrative problems, and so on. Responses to the problem-solving technique may be received almost immediately, but often they come based on developing intuition over the next 2 to 3 days. Frequently, the response comes in the form of a sudden, holistic perception in which the individual suddenly finds that he simply knows the answer in all of its ramifications and completely in context, sometimes without even being able to put his newly found perception into words, at least initially. In some cases, the response may even arrive in the form of visual symbols, which the individual will see with his mind while he is in the focus 12 state, and which he will have to interpret after he returns to normal consciousness.
Sorry.
It sounds like so many modern affirmations and manifestation techniques kind of thing, right? Like you put your idea out there and you make it happen in the Akashic first, right?
It makes me think of like the higher guardian angel or the daemon.
I even thought setting your intentions. I mean, very much like kind of like ritual, right? Like, kind of like saying what you want to get out of it.
Yeah, but they're suggesting that there's this intermediary that will bring you the information or something.
Yeah, that'd be very holy guardian angel for sure. Yeah.
There's also those that like to do dream work too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, anything like if you're kind of involving an angel, I feel like it could even be that to an extent, or trying to pass the message on to somebody who can deliver. Like even using Tahuti or Gabrielle. You know what I'm saying? Or even you could use fuck, I forgot his name. Hercules. Wasn't he known to be able to go between both worlds too, or some shit?
Mercury.
Maybe.
Mercury. Mercury.
Mercury and Hecate, technically.
And Woden or Odin.
Yeah. I wonder if that's all kind of like the same thing. All right. Did you want to go? I guess Eros, and then I'll take it after.
Yes.
All right.
All right. Patterning. This technique involves use of the consciousness to achieve desired objectives in the physical, emotional, or intellectual sphere. It involves concentration on the desired objective while in a focus 12 state, extension of the individual's perception of that objective into the whole expanded consciousness, and its projection into the universe with the intention that the desired objective is already a matter of established achievement which is destined to be realized within the time frame specified. This particular methodology is based on the belief that the thought patterns generated by our consciousness in a state of expanded awareness create holograms which represent the situation we desire to bring about, and in so doing, establish the basis for actual realization of that goal. Once the thought-generated hologram of the sought-after objective is established in the universe, it becomes an aspect of reality which interacts with the universal hologram to bring about the desired objective, which might not under other circumstances ever occur. In other words, the technique of patterning recognizes the fact that since consciousness is the source of all reality, our thoughts have the power to influence the development of reality in time-space as it applies to us if those thoughts can be projected with adequate intensity. However, the more complicated the objective sought and the more radically it departs from our current reality, the more time the universal hologram will need to reorient our reality sphere to accommodate our desires. Monroe trainers cautioned against attempting to force the pace of this process because the individual could succeed in dislocating his existing reality with drastic consequences. That's so crazy. Because I always think that too, because in my experience, it's like, I've been able to manifest things, but it takes time for I feel like for it to come into being. It's like, I don't know, almost like, there are certain necessities. I really do think that you can negotiate with the universe to a certain level. But sometimes, I think it just depends on how far outside of alignment you are. Because, if you have to kind of work with your higher self, right, then it has to be something authentic to you. And so if you're further away from that authenticity, then it's going to take longer for the universe to kind of be able to reach you and meet up with you to kind of help you out there, I think, because, it's not just you in the universe, it's like all these other people trying to manifest their own things as well. I don't know.
I like that. We got somebody in the chat. I think they're on Ethan. I think they might be on your YouTube. Looks like Lee from.
I didn't.
Yeah, no, well, it's
Yeah.
not mine. It looks like I think they might have had experience with this. They have a lot of comments. I can see it on my end because I see every comment. If this person's interested in coming on and talking about your experience, send me an email, please. You can look on the Occult Rejects YouTube, and there's an email contact. I just want to let them know so they can hear it. I can't comment on your YouTube from here, so I'll let them know.
No, I didn't know. I can't see the difference. That's awesome.
Yeah.
He's dropping some very interesting ideas. I can't help but think about the idea of how you do one thing is how you do everything. Whenever I see the word pattern and people in a pattern or another, and this idea and really the whole document really makes me think about chi. And this one really has a warning about chi overload might be a way that some practitioners might term it, right? Like don't go too far without setting yourself grounded, or you're going to lose however they termed it, lose connection with this reality too much. um, and or be ungrounded, and or even physically sickened. And chi, in its most basic sense, is compressed air. That's the exoteric definition of chi. The esoteric definition is infused with mind. Instead of infusing the body with compressed air, we infuse the body with mind. And even beyond that, which this whole gateway instruction and technique suggests too, the Tao or the I Ching and different Taoist teachings always talk about how and Buddhists too, but the mind is everywhere. And so this psychic phenomenon in this teaching is, it's like very psychic Taoist. What seemed a little bit off the wall now is like, oh yeah, they were just on the higher level of mind.
How did they know?
How did they know what?
I don't know. Just like all of these ancient teachings, right?
Oh, right. Yeah, right. No, it's really, it so corresponds that it's like they're just saying the same thing in a different terminology.
All right. The next one we got here. Before I get into it, color breathing. Did you ever do stuff like that, Judith? Like meditation with like color breathing and stuff?
Actually, I have to say no. Actually, I saw that title. I was like, I'm very interested and I'm intrigued.
Yeah, I've done stuff like that. Or did you ever do it was something that I've heard like it was suggested multiple times from different people, like breathing in the white and like exhaling black. You never even heard like that suggestion?
Actually,
like,
I
don't know if that would be considered
yes,
color.
but I never, I actually, to tell you the truth, until you said it, I never put the two together.
Yeah.
Because if you're doing the middle pillar, or even when you're doing chakra alignments, you're looking at the colors as well.
Yeah.
I've actually done this one. It seems to just be kind of to like get any like nasty vibration or whatever out of you, so you're kind of like at a nice even energy state.
Yeah, I do like I do think for myself, breath work and visualizations was that was something I did a lot. I was very much into it, and I don't know, I do think it might have helped with my experience. All right, here we go. Color breathing. The next technique is called color breathing and is designed to use the expanded awareness and highly focused attentiveness associated with the focus 12 state to imagine various colors in a particularly intense and vivid manner, so as to use them to resonate with and in turn to activate the body's own energies. Fundamentally, in terms of practical application, it is a healing technique which is designed to restore the body and to enhance its physical capabilities by balancing, revitalizing, and returning bodily energy flows. It is predicted, I don't know, on the principles that the body's electromagnetic field is capable of altering its resonance pattern so as to entrain energy from the Earth's electrostatic field for its own use. That's interesting because I feel like that is a theory on like a lot of pyramids and monoliths, or not monoliths, pyramids and like architecture like that. They do question if it is tapping into the ground's electromagnetic field. The various colors I don't know how to say that word again. And the imagination is part of the technique cue the mind as to which frequencies and what specific amplitudes are desired in connection with the entrainment and the subsequent alterations in bodily energy flow patterns. The color has the capacity to affect the human mind, is well known, and the effectuality of color in certain kinds of healing is a demonstrable fact. For example, application of an intense blue light to an area of physical tumescence leads to relatively rapid and easily observable reduction in the swelling, while red, and to a lesser extent, yellow have quite the opposite effect. This, if people are interested in stuff like that with colors, the color series I have, there was some interesting stuff about like how colors can affect people and stuff. However, in the hemisync application of the technique, external light sources are not involved, but rather the mind is the sole agent of the healing and revitalization.
It's a powerful last sentence.
Yeah, yes. Like, so you don't need the color. You just got to be able to envision it yourself. It'll still work. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's all mind.
Yeah.
I find that whole section very interesting because it talks about the electromagnetic field around you as a human being. And I never thought about applying colors to it when I did my research. And actually, the research I was doing didn't have that element in there, which I'm going to have to revisit that research again to see how it may affect what they have already put out there prior to this.
Oh shit!
Super interesting.
Yeah.
Should we go to the next one?
Yes, and then
this one actually struck me when I was just scanning over it. So, magic wands and enchanted scepters have been part of the folklore and occult practices of many cultures. I mean, this is amazing. The scepters, staffs, and maces carried by monarchs and high priests alike occur with such frequency in the history of bygone eras as to suggest that at the very least, these items are aspects of some type of archetypal symbol which the human mind seems to appreciate, perhaps quite subliminally. In any case, the energy bar tool technique involves envisaging a small, intensely pulsating dot of light, which the participant charges in his imagination with enormous energy until it is virtually pulsating. The participant then extrudes the dot into the shape of a sparkling, vibrating cylinder of energy, which he then uses to channel force from the universe to selected parts of his body for purposes of healing and revitalization. Interesting.
That reminds me so much of like even just charging stuff magically. Like I don't know, like when you're gonna sit there and charge a talisman, or if you're charging a sigil. I would do that.
I mean,
it's charging your wand. Like if you just made a new wand and you want to consecrate it and do all that stuff, it's like the same shit.
And it reminds me of the pillars. It reminds me of the staff of, Thoth or Tahuti, and everywhere you look, they're carrying a stick, or something. It's really interesting.
Yeah. All right. I guess, Judith, you get E.
Coincidentally, remote viewing. In addition, the energy bar tool is used as a portal for initiating a follow-on technique called remote viewing. In this context, The participant turns his bar of energy into a whirling vortex through which he sends his imagination in search of new and illuminating insights. The apparent purpose of the symbolism involved in the vortex seems to be cue the subconscious and convey to it instructions as to what the participant wishes to do, but in terms of nonverbal symbols which the right hemisphere of the mind is capable of understanding. I don't know, maybe I'm off, but to me this sounds a little bit like astral projection. Just not with the remote viewing part. The remote viewing part is, to me, is more focused, but it sounds like if you practice astral projection, this part would be very easy for you. If you're someone who does it on the regular.
Yeah.
My opinion.
And I know I'm stuck on Tai Chi as always, but if you practice with a stick, and there's an expression, every good Tai Chi practitioner should have a stick. And there is the point of the stick, which was mentioned in the energy bar process, but it is also, of course, a stick. It's a line. And then this process just mentioned spinning it. When you start spinning your stick, it's turned into then a 3-dimensional and even a 4-dimensional space that you take over. Not 4-dimensional, rather, but a 2-dimensional and then 3-dimensional space that you are, swinging the stick around. So they're like taking this basic, horrible martial stick idea and making it into this psychic technique.
The idea of just like projecting your imagination out is kind of crazy, because then like what is the implications there on what imagination is?
And just a lot of this stuff all does really remind me of just like practices in magic and ceremony, magic and meditations.
So much so, yeah.
I mean, even like if you're doing a spell, I mean, I've heard it suggested to like literally try to envision like it happening or what you actually want to happen. Like close your eyes and try to like make that vision happen or that scene or a movie. I've heard that. So it's like kind of like you're really trying to project like your own imagination to come true.
You would think creatives would probably be like especially good at magic. Is it my
Yes, it's your turn. And then
all right. Living body map. This technique provides amplification for application of the energy bar tool as a means of healing specific areas or systems of the human body. The configuration of the participant's body is imagined, and then the various major systems, such as the nervous and circulatory systems, are envisaged in appropriate colors within the confines of the outline being held in the imagination. The energy bar tool is then applied to energizing, balancing, and healing in whatever manner the participant desires. In the process, the participant visualizes various streams of colored energy flowing out of the tool into the organ system or area upon which the revitalizing or healing application is being made. Since colors are the result of differing wavelengths of light, which is to say energy at various frequencies, this technique operates on the assumption that as the human body is composed of energy, it can be vitalized and healed through the additive application of additional energy, provided that the energy is applied in the appropriate form.
like, I wonder if they had ideas of like, is there certain colors that are better for certain things, and that's being left out, and it's like it's just not being mentioned. You know what I'm saying?
Probably because that reminds me of. Sorry, Nick.
No, go ahead.
I just was going to say that reminds me of so many different like healing visualization or meditation practices, right?
Yeah, I have heard like overall it's always like oh god. What color is oh fuck, I'm trying to remember this. It's not purple, but very close to it.
Violet.
Yeah, there's a crystal of it. It's very much the same color. Fuck. I can't remember. But you vision this,
Amethyst.
huh?
Amethyst.
Amethyst. Yeah. Whatever color you consider amethyst, like yeah, like that throughout your body, and that supposedly is like a healing color, like a stronger one. But I'm just wondering, like, is there other ones that might be better for different parts of the body in healing?
Yeah, definitely. I think
I wonder if they know. It's just not in the paperwork.
the Vedics definitely point to that type of idea with the chakra and chakra system in having correspondence with colors, and different colors can affect different systems for sure. In theory.
All right. Focus 15. Oh shit. Travel into the past. Ooh. All of the preceding techniques are conducted at the level of expanded awareness known as Focus 12. However, the technique of the time travel into the past involves further expansion of consciousness through the inclusion of additional levels of sound on the hemisync tape. Some of the sound is probably merely an intensification of the basic hemisync frequencies being designed to further modify brainwave frequency and amplitude. Other aspects of the added sound patterns appear to be designed to provide subtle, almost subliminal suggestions to the mind as to what is desired by way of further expanded consciousness, so as to support the verbal suggestions and instructions also contained on the tape. Even the instructions are highly symbolic, with time being visualized as a huge wheel in the universe with various spokes, each of which give access to a different part of the participant's past. That's cool. Focus 15 is a very advanced state and is extremely difficult to achieve. Probably less than 5% of all participants in any given gateway experience actually fully achieve the Focus 15 state during the course of the approximately 7 days of training. Nonetheless, Monroe Institute trainers affirm that with enough practice, eventually Focus 15 can be achieved. They also state that not only the individual's past history is available for examination by one who has achieved Focus 15, but other aspects of the past with which the individual himself has had no connection may also be accessed. That's some pretty wild shit. I didn't even have it up on the screen. Sorry about that. Oops.
Yeah, we're just going beyond time and space. It's crazy.
You know, in places that you weren't even like associated with. I mean, at that point, it's like time travel, but just in the past. Doesn't even matter if you're there or not.
A huge wheel, though. Why a wheel?
Yeah, it made me think of like the wheel of what's that? The wheels that's on the tarot card.
Oh, the
Sometimes they have like spokes coming out. Depends on the artist, obviously. But deck.
right. The wheel continues to turn, but it's just weird. Just weird. Wheel. Because I just think of time as linear. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it's probably circular here, or linear. Not in the constraints of this reality, I guess. I don't know.
The Aboriginal idea of time in Australia, they talk about it being a circle and a spiral. And so some times might connect to another time really closely as they envision it. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it looks linear, but all time, happens at once technically, so it all connects back to the beginning anyway. So I guess it's interesting.
Yeah.
It makes me think too, the only thing restricting our consciousness is our consciousness. Like if you can be trained to see information of the past and it looks like the next one, the future, it's just like, really, I think underlines the point. We really are only inhibited by ourselves more than anything.
No, I can't believe they're even saying that within a week, 5% of the people who try this in that situation even get that far.
I
Like,
know.
I figured it was gonna be like after 6 months. I was like, after a week, like this, like I was like, fuck, I wish I had these tapes now. I might go look for them again. Like, fuck, like, damn, that's.
I bet. I mean, and they must do programs all the time. It sounds like, because it's a 5 or 6 day thing now. Maybe it's a 7 day thing too. I don't know, but they're still doing this. Like, you could go and immerse yourself. It's probably pricey, but maybe
I
not.
bet it's on Spotify.
You know what I think it
I'm
is,
sure.
actually. I think you're right, actually. Yeah, you know what the problem is, though? I have noticed differences and variations, and I have seen people say that there is bullshit ones out there, which is like, holy shit, I cannot believe somebody spent the time to make like wrong ones.
Right. And what are they trying to tap into and say in the unconscious message, subconscious message?
Yeah.
I guess that's good to know. Like, be careful.
Yeah. Because some people are. I've known some people who are wary about trying it and haven't because they're afraid that they're not going to get the authentic one, and they're not about to pay for it because I think it's like fucking hundreds of dollars or some shit. Yeah, it's not something cheap to do. All right.
Okay, I think
you're right, H.
Yeah, luckily I get the short one.
Yeah.
Focus 21, the future. The last and most advanced of all the focus states associated with the Gateway training program involves movement outside of the boundaries of time-space, as in Focus 15, but with attention to discovering the future rather than the past. The individual who has achieved this state has reached a truly advanced level. Except in unusual circumstances, it is probably not attainable except by those who have conditioned themselves through long application of meditation, or by those who have practiced long and hard through the use of the hemisync tapes for a period of months, if not years. Well, that's interesting that the past is more secure, I guess, and can be seen easier somehow, right?
Yeah.
I think also when it comes to the future, depending on how far you go, it's a sit and wait situation. Because you don't know, whether they're accurate or not till it occurs.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and you would imagine that the future is not really set. Like, it's
Right. If you can go
probably
in the
always
past. Yeah, right. If you can affect the past, how could the future ever be set? If there's people who are affecting the past, changing the future. That's why we got Mandela effects.
That's
right?
that's just reminded me of that.
Judith, have you ever seen those things? I heard of that stuff. Those Mandela, like where things are like missing, like the way Berenstein Bears was spelled, or like no cornucopia.
No, the Berenstein Bears is the one that me, Nick, because I remember not only it being Berenstein or Steen or whatever, but I remember even talking about it, like with my aunts and uncles, or like, how do you say this? How is this? Because the EI, the IE, however it was spelled, was a thing. It was like, how do I pronounce this as a kid? And now they're saying, no, it's always been Stain, Stain, right?
What got
that does not make sense.
I think what got me was the Fruit of the Looms.
Yeah. I remember
that one.
That one gets me because I was like, I remember seeing that cornucopia in that. And then they're like, no, it never was. I was like, I know it was there.
Word, I can remember having a conversation about what is this? Oh, that's a cornucopia. Cornucopia? I never heard of that. Okay, yeah, well, that's just what they call it. I definitely remember not only seeing it but talking about it.
But most people attribute that the Mandela effect to timelines crossing and different. I can't even remember the terminology right now. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Basically timelines. I would say crossing over, and we're going through in and out of timelines and stuff like that. Alternate universes. There we go. Alternate universes. So I'm glad.
No, sorry.
No, I'm saying I'm glad, Ethan, that you remembered it, because everyone else I talked to was like, no, it was never there. I'm like, I know it was there. I'm not going crazy.
Oh no, that shit was there.
Yeah, right. And Tara in the comments just said the same thing, that she remembers talking about it, not only seeing it, but talking about it. Right. So it's like these conversations wouldn't have even occurred.
Okay.
I remember getting made fun of too, like before the internet. I had somehow came across the idea that Nelson Mandela died, like way before the internet. And like people were like, no, he's not dead. Look, he's not dead. I'm like, oh, whoa, weird. Why did I think that? And then this started coming about, and I'm like, oh, wow, weird. So this strange.
That is weird when you think. I don't know.
It's odd right now.
It's almost bothersome, right?
It's like what the fuck could have gotten changed in the past to remove the cornucopia?
Yo,
why is that the only thing that changed? Like did you knock out the guy who got the original deal for the art and you sold them the fucking idea without the cornucopia? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what stupid little change makes that happen?
It's so weird. And you guys were in New York. What about the Ed McMahon thing?
Yeah. Yo, I'm sorry, man. I remember that shit.
I remember him going door to door, watching him on TV. Ed McMahon brought the readers, whatever it was called, like at the time, like that was like every other commercial series it was on, right?
And it was a big event during the Super Bowl, I do believe. It was a Super Bowl was when he awarded that.
I don't remember.
Oh man, imagine this is a Super Bowl.
But I remember those commercials, and now they're saying that never happened. Like, wait, what?
No, I don't believe that. I don't believe that.
That just does my head in. That one, like again, you remember talking about it, not only seeing it, but like joking about what a kooky was, basically.
I can't imagine making that up in my own mind for some reason as a child. Like for what reason?
No.
Yeah, right. With a gigantic card of a gigantic check card. Like, that's not my imagination.
I think enough of us remember that. No matter how much they deny it, that did happen.
Telling you.
No, that does my head in.
I like that. Yeah. Judith, you ready for the paragraph?
Yes, sir.
Sorry.
That nice big paragraph for me. Okay, the out-of-body movement. This remarkable phenomenon has been seen for discussion in detail until last because of the interest which it occasions and special circumstances involved in its attainment. Monroe Institute stresses that the Gateway program was not established solely for the purpose of enabling participants to obtain the out-of-body state, nor does the program guarantee that the participants will succeed in doing it during the course of the training at the Institute. Only one tape out of the many which make up the Gateway experience is devoted to the techniques involved in the out-of-body movement. Basically, these techniques were merely designed to make it easier for the individual to achieve the out-of-body state when his brainwave pattern and personal energy levels have reached a point that he is in apparent harmony with his surrounding electromagnetic environment, such that he feels that he has reached the threshold where separation is a possibility. To facilitate achieving the out-of-body state, Bob Monroe, the founder of Monroe Institute, is quoted in a recent magazine article as saying that in order to assist the participant, the particular Hamasync tape concerned with the technique employs beta signals of around 2877.3 CPS cycles per second. Since 30 to 40 CPS is considered to be the normal range for beta brainwave signals, those associated with the wakeful state, it is apparent that the Monroe Institute is convinced that the same heightened state of brainwave frequency output, which promotes alternate states of consciousness, is also an important consideration in assisting in achievement of out-of-body states. The actual technique employed for separating from the body involves such simple maneuvers as rolling out, lifting out, after the fashion of a phone pole, wherein the individual separates in a rigid head first manner, such that he finds himself standing at attention at the. Hold on, let me get there so I could scroll down.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. At the foot of his physical body and sliding out through either end of his body. I find this other than it being a disclaimer, I find this whole part interesting, and it makes me think, because we were talking about the Mandela effect. Could you imagine how many people, if you had like millions of people doing this at the same time, how would it affect our timeline? Because basically the way I'm reading it, they could basically change time and events.
I think if you're even like start fucking with this shit, I think you're actually in some way kind of like manipulating time and space anyway.
So if you have millions of people messing it, we will have stuff like the Fruit of the Loom situation and the Ed McMahon situation happening. If people's like, I didn't want that to happen. Not to sound cliche, it's like I don't know if you're into Supernatural, watch the show Supernatural.
Yes.
The angel Gabriel went back in time and saved the Titanic and everything else like that. If you had so many people, not just him, like if people could reach this ability and they start saying, we could go back and do this, you'll have a bunch of Mandela effects. This is my opinion.
I would do it on purpose just to troll people.
That's great. All right. Here we go. Do you want to go, Eros, I guess?
Oh,
You
yes.
need it up on the screen? Does that help?
Yeah. We're on 32 here. Okay. Role of REM sleep. It is interesting to note that Bob Monroe informed the Gateway class that finished May 7th, 1983, that an ex-trainer of his operating in Charlottesville, Virginia, found that he could guarantee out-of-body movements by bringing participants down into a rapid eye movement REM state of sleep and then use the hemi-sync tape technique. This may well be a function of the fact that most, if not all, people reputedly go into an out-of-body state during REM sleep. REM sleep is the deepest possible level of ordinary sleep and involves complete disengagement of the body's motor cortex functions from the neck down and nearly complete suppression of consciousness in the left brain hemisphere. The effect of this is to put the body in a state of complete stillness so far as the skeletal muscle structure is concerned, thereby further promoting the state of deep rest needed to eliminate the bifurcation echo. In addition, it leaves the right hemisphere of the brain free to respond to the instructions and suggestions contained on the gateway tape. However, use of the hemi-sync tapes at this point may be less a factor in actually achieving the out-of-body state than it is a matter of focusing the brain enough so that a residual memory of having naturally achieved an out-of-body state is carried into the waking state. Indeed, it may even be postulated that some dreams associated with deep levels of sleep are in fact functions of the same kind of altered consciousness involved in interaction with the universe that plays a role in all of the focus 12, 15, and 21 states described above. The difference between those states and the condition of the mind in REM sleep seems to be that the left hemisphere is almost totally disengaged in the latter experience, such that memory of what was achieved in the altered states of consciousness cannot usually be retrieved by conscious desire because the left hemisphere has no knowledge of its existence or its location in the right hemisphere. Admittedly, some people can be trained to remember their REM state dreams through intense conditioning in the waking state, but even that may be more a function of establishing pathways in the right hemisphere, which the left hemisphere can access following re entry into the wakeful state, than it is an indication of any specific left hemisphere conscious involvement in the process during REM sleep. In any event, the three apparent conditions required for voluntarily inducing an out-of-body state in most individuals seems to be 1. Achievement of a state of profound quiet in the body such that the bifurcation echo fades in resonance at approximately 7 Hz is established, or 2. Synchronization of the two brain hemisphere wave patterns, and 3. Subsequent stimulation of the right hemisphere of the mind to attain a state of heightened alertness, which of course interferes with brain hemisphere synchronization, but not until a sufficient level of enhanced frequency range has first been established to help achieve the out-of-body state.
That was a whole lot.
Yeah.
I do
So,
think it's interesting. Sorry to interrupt, but just like real quick, how they even say that the only point of doing that now is so you remember the experience. Like, that was really interesting. That there's something that you got to be
that struck me
in
too.
a certain state to even have the memory of it.
Mm-hmm.
are they like, is that insinuating that we might do it and we just don't even know?
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, I was like, is that what we're doing? We're dreaming.
It also makes me think of the symbolism behind, well, there's many different stories of people going to sleep and dreaming and having a prophetic thing, but specifically Rip Van Winkle, he imagined himself 100 years into the future almost, rather than slept 100 years kind of thing, with the whole psychic element to it as a symbolic interpretation anyway.
All right. I'll continue. 33. Awesome. Information collection potential. The information acquisition potential associated with the out-of-body state seems to attract the most attention from the standpoint of developing practical applications for the gateway technique. Unfortunately, although the out-of-body state can apparently be achieved by many people without excessive expenditure of time or effort, the purposes to which it can be put are currently limited by the fact that although individuals in that state may travel anywhere on an instantaneous basis in either the terrestrial or in other spaces, information distortion in the former context remains a major concern. To date, according to one of the trainers at Monroe Institute, numerous experiments have been conducted involving persons moving from one coast to the other in the out-of-body state to read a series of 10 computer-generated numbers in a university laboratory. Although most have acquired enough of the digits to make clear that their consciousness was present, none have ever succeeded in getting all 10 correct. This seems to be a function of the fact that physical reality in the present is not the only holographic influence which the individual may encounter in an out-of-body state. There are also energy patterns left by people or events occurring at the same physical site being viewed, but from the past rather than the present. In addition, since thoughts are the product of energy patterns and energy patterns are reality, it may also be possible that individuals encounter thought forms while in an out of body state, which mingle with physical reality and are not easily differentiated. Finally, as Melissa Jagger writes, there is another potential problem area in the sense that holograms can be viewed pseudoscopically. That's correct. That is to say, inside out or backwards, just as well as they can be seen in proper perspective. Some of the distortions occurring may ultimately prove to be traceable to this cause because in the out of body state, an individual may perceive the holographic energy patterns given off by people or things interacting in time space reality in a somewhat distorted form.
You like it how he said terrestrial or in other spheres? Like,
Yeah.
no, they're not going to give that to us at all. But also just like it kind of really paints a picture of like what that looks like, huh? Like actually being out of body and like almost like all of time happening at once, and like, you know, you could run into thought forms. Like it's kind of like,
That's spaced out.
it sounds like confusing to navigate a bit.
I think it's wild that they're even just saying that, like, you may not know the difference between like a thought form and I guess like an entity, I guess, in a sense. Like, that's wild. Or you could sense, like, I don't know.
And
I guess that would be like an egregore almost, maybe.
Yeah, right. And just the removal of the limitations of time space is just fascinating all throughout this.
Right.
Okay, should we go 34?
Yes.
Okay. Whoops. Sorry. Belief system considerations. In 1967, Alexandra David Neal and Lama Yongden wrote a book entitled Secret Oral Teachings in Tibetan Buddhist Sects, in which the following quote is taken. "The tangible world is movement, say the masters, not a collection of moving objects, but movement itself. There are no objects in movement. It is the movement which constitutes the objects which appear to us. They are nothing but movement. This movement is a continued and infinitely rapid succession of flashes of energy, in Tibetan, Sal or Shug. All objects perceptible to our senses, all phenomena of whatever kind and whatever aspect they may assume, are constituted by a rapid succession of instantaneous events." Eros, you kind of touched on that, how time is all at once. That reminds me, that sentence. "The classic description of the universal hologram is to be found in a Hindu sutra, which says, 'In the heaven of Indra, there is said to be a network of pearls, so arranged that if you look at one, you see all the others reflected in it.'"
Ideal forms.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I have cited this quotation because it shows that the concept of the universe, which at least some physicists are now coming to accept, is identical in its essential aspects with one known to the learned elite in selected civilizations and cultures of high attainment in the ancient world. The concept of the cosmic egg, for example, is well known to scholars familiar with the ancient writings of the Eastern religions. Nor are the theories presented in this paper at variance with the essential tenets of the Judeo-Christian stream of thought. The concept of visible reality, i.e., the created world, as being an emanation of the omnipotent and omniscient divinity, who is completely unknowable in his primary state of being. The absolute at rest in infinity is a concept straight out of Hebrew mystical philosophy. Even the Christian concept of the Trinity shines through the description of the absolute as presented in this paper. The description of energy totally at rest in infinity fits the Christian metaphysical concept of the Father, while the infinite self-consciousness resident in that energy, providing the motive force of will to bring a portion of that energy into motion to create reality, corresponds with the Son. This is because in order to attain self-consciousness, the consciousness of the absolute must project a hologram of itself and then perceive it. The hologram is a mirror image of the absolute in infinity, still exists outside time and space, but is one step removed from the absolute and is the actual agent of all creation, all reality. And the eternal thought or concept of self, which results from this self-consciousness, serves. Okay. So here's the end of page 24, and the next page is the page 25.
What?
I got you. I got the other page. Maybe you sent it to me. I gotta pull it up.
And we got the missing page here.
Yeah.
That's crazy that it was gone, but it's
Yeah.
great that you guys found it.
It was gone for many years after the initial release of the main document, and there was a big uproar. And I think finally it was the Monroe Institute, not the CIA, that quote unquote found it. So.
Hope it was there, then it's gone.
I got it. I was doing it this way so I could blow it up.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
But the absolute, I mean, do we give Abrahamic religion that credit? I don't know, because Plotinus, Plato, I
Yeah,
don't
right.
Right.
No, even when he said that, the first thing, well, for me, I mean, I did think kind of like Kether, but absolute, like that really does make me think of like Plotinus or stuff like that.
And it made me think how connected these philosophies were along the Silk Road, so to speak, right? That Buddhism intertwined with Judeo-Christianity and, Gnosticism and so forth, and back and forth the other way too. Probably in ways that are more remarkable than we're able to determine,
Yeah, absolute, or the universal truths, right?
Even before, when it was talking about like being kind of the first, I guess, like separation from like whatever the absolute and kind of like I guess having an idea of self. It was to me, I thought that was very much Chokma. That from the Kabbalistic tree. I mean, even the experience is coming face to face with God. So I mean, I could even see like like looking at oneself to the extent.
So,
Oh.
Were you gonna? No, sorry. Were you gonna?
Oh, no, I wasn't. Sorry.
So I'll start from the last sentence on page 24. And the eternal thought or concept of self, which results from this self-consciousness, serves the absolute as the model around which the evolution of time-space revolves to ultimately attain a reflection of and union with him. That thought model, which perfectly reflects the essence or spirit of the absolute, fits the Christian metaphysical description of the Holy Spirit. Finally, our description of the universal hologram, the torus of creation and evolution, is neither new nor original. Its use as the figure of the universe, of creation developing in evolution, is found in various stylized representations in virtually every religious system of antiquity, whether of Eastern or Western derivation. Whether it's the stylized labyrinth, once popular in the Hellenic world, the spiralized version of the Hebrew tree of life, or its Hindu counterpart, or the Chinese spiral through the fourfold powers, the ultimate meaning is the same. Mystics the world over, it seems, have perceived the universal hologram in the same spiral form and have incorporated that intuitive knowledge in their religious writings from antiquity to the present. I mean, if there was going to be a page that goes missing, right? That's just is like the bomb right there.
Yeah. I do find it's funny how like they do kind of in a few ways they have kind of attributed other ideas to like Christianity. Like again, things that we were even saying that sound a little bit like maybe like Neoplatonic. They're suggesting is also Christianity.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, technically, St. Augustine did get it from Plotinus, so.
Yes, he did.
But
I'm actually working on stuff for that. I want to do a show on showing how Christianity. I like to even maybe get other people from the show to do it too. I do want to try to show the, I guess like Platonism, Neoplatonism, and maybe other kind of occult ideas that are actually accepted into Christianity. There's a fuck ton of them.
Gnosticism too.
Yeah. It's not so much like point the finger. It's just like I don't know. Like you realize you guys really aren't any much different than us. Like, maybe we should chill the fuck out. Like stop saying dumb shit. Like I don't know.
Well, it's almost too like if you get real symbolic with it, the whole New Testament is a sacrifice, right? Of what the ancients were supposedly doing. Literally, it's God sending his kid to be sacrificed. It's like, wait, what?
Yeah. What is that called? An Ola or an Olaf offering?
Various. I'm not sure, but I know they're all doing various forms of it.
It's funny how you get a lot of those podcasts that are always like, "Oh, that was a sacrifice. That was a sacrifice. This motherfucker sacrificed their own kid. This motherfucker sacrificed their own kid to become."
That's what I'm saying. And then,
what the fuck could happen with you if he didn't get sacrificed? You wouldn't be famous either.
That's what I'm saying.
What the fuck, man?
The sacrificial stuff is. Sorry, Ethan.
No, please.
Well, I was gonna say it's kind of interesting because I feel like you don't like. I don't know. At least in like Plato and like the Neoplatonists specifically, like I know Porphyry had a whole like chunk of a book kind of criticizing sacrificial practices. Like they absolutely didn't think that it was necessary.
Yeah, they were against it.
Sure.
Yeah, so it's like interesting. It's like I mean, how common really was this practice outside of like the Canaanites and these Abrahamic religions, and like the purpose of it, right, is like for forgiving your sins. It's very like I guess antinomian and like anti-order in a way. I don't know. It's just a fascinating thing that seems like it could be kind of secluded to just Abrahamic religions, and it's like what is the purpose? I've heard some people say I don't know, like it could be a I don't know. It
Well, one thing, I mean, there could have been a lot of different things going on with the realism or symbolism, but one thing for sure is the infant or young person mortality rate, even up until like the late 1800s, or later than that, was so much higher. So maybe it's almost like a psychological trick, like yeah, your kids were dying left and right. It was really difficult to get a kid past youth, and so they would have that idea, even though they didn't even actually, do it themselves. But the idea was, the symbolism might have been behind the, high mortality anyway, as a way of coping.
all I know is Jesus died so I can do whatever I want. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry.
Yeah. All right.
It is beautiful
Sorry,
that
sorry.
we're right on the second or whatever, the part of page 25 there. It's beautiful that he brings it all together, right? The essence of all these religious teachings were similar in the spiral or in their descriptions. It's interesting.
All right, who reads next?
And there's a-
I forgot where we left.
Okay.
I forgot we read last. Sorry.
This one looks like
Ethan did, so yes,
Oh,
you
okay.
did.
It
Sorry.
looks like a big one, so deep breath. Left brain limitations. 12th century physics would seem to be revisiting insights belonging to mankind as far back as written records can take us. The only difference is the 20th century physics is using a left brain linear quantitative style of reasoning to approach the same knowledge which the mystics of old apparently acquired in a holistic, intuitional, right brain style. As a tool in the hands of our left brain culture, Gateway would seem to be a promising method for achieving the intuitive, holistic type of interface with the universal hologram needed to provide the context that thinkers like Einstein have sought in their labors to discover a unified field theory in physics. For persons in our profession whose concerns revolve around strategic issues, tactical questions, and matters of managerial form and system, access to a new world of intuitive perception and self-reflection would seem to offer in a long term the means by which to know in a truly objective way. This is so because the self-imposed limitations to balanced perception and objective logic, which our cultural and personal psychological subjectivity imposes when we use the strictly left brain thinking style, could be offset by the holistic form of perception associated with alternate states of consciousness. To the extent that we come to perceive ourselves fully in the context of the portion of the universal hologram, which is the reflection of ourselves, to that extent we release ourselves from the prison of, I'm sorry, can't see.
Subjectivity.
No, I get. Okay, yeah, subjectivity. There we go.
Yep, sorry. I can see it on my
I
page.
question
Yeah.
the alternative, I think the alternative perception. I understand this is talking about, astral projection, remote viewing, but is he considering other substances that could be used to reach that? Because this is similar to sometimes when I hear people talk about using something like DMT or something,
Yes.
or anawasha, it sounds like it's similar to this.
Oh yeah. I definitely think so. Especially even would say holistic.
Holistic DMT.
Yeah.
There's stories about I'm forgetting his name right now, but he is kind of a famous hippie angry.
I'm gonna try to help you think of his name.
And he travels back to India to meet several gurus there, and he brings a bunch of LSD, right? And
Timothy Leary.
no, maybe, yeah. I think so. Yeah, right. The author and lecturer. I think it was Timothy Leary. Sorry, I'm so bad with names. But he and other people have related this story in that time period too. But he relates this story. I don't know if it's true, that he goes there and he's getting high off a kite and high as a kite and hanging out with all these really deep thinkers and so on. And he brings this drug box, and he at one point he meets this guru, and the guy's like, "What's in the box?" He's like, "I want some." He's like, I don't have. There's nothing in there. You don't want it. No. Watch. Let's try some together. You're so obsessed with it. And he takes like the hugest dose of LSD, like something that would take out an elephant. He describes and has no effect. And so it just reminds me of all these meditation altered states that Judith just read about, that it has this, psychedelic or drug induced aspect, but also just reminds me of how meditation states might be as close, or holding on to your energy in a different way. So, like these gurus, like you're already there.
Yeah, Terrence McKenna too is another person that makes me think of, and there's so many people that push this idea of like psychedelics as, quite a helpful aid. I would, but but I just feel like people dismiss it. But I don't know. I mean, listen to Terrence McKenna, listen to these people, and then say that.
I do think, like Ethan was saying, from even experiences I had, I do think you can get pretty close to the shit. I think naturally through meditation. Believe it or not. All right. Is this
All right. I think
yeah,
it's me.
yes.
Self-knowledge. It was axiomatic to the mystic philosophers of old that the first step in personal maturity could be expressed in the aphorism, "Know thyself." To them, the education of a man undertook as its primary step achievement of an introverted focus so that he learned what was within himself before attempting to approach the outside world. They rightly assumed that he could not effectively evaluate and cope with the world until he fully understood his personal psychological balance. The insights being provided by 20th century psychology in this context through the use of various kinds of personality testing seem to be a revalidation of this ancient intuition. But no personality test or series of tests will ever replace the depth and fullness of the perception of self, which can be achieved when the mind alters its state of consciousness sufficiently to perceive the very hologram of itself, which it has projected into the universe in its proper context as part of the universal hologram in a totally holistic and intuitional way. This would seem to be one of the real promises of the gateway experience from the standpoint of its ability to provide a portal through which, based on months, if not years of practice, the individual may pass in his search to find self, personal effectuality, and the truth in the larger sense. That is crazy. I want to see myself mirrored back to me. That would save me so much time.
It's fascinating.
Don't we all?
That is
But-
some, it's very weird stuff. You think this shit work? You think like people get to this point? I guess so, right? If the guy's including it, or is sorry.
But if you think about it, that's the whole goal, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the ultimate goal, is to be self-aware, to know thyself, and to progress in that manner. That's why most people meditate. They go on because this is like a dedicated, even if you do it spiritually, even if you follow this documentation, the ultimate goal is to know yourself, is to unite with your HGA.
Yeah. You think this should almost be like knowing your will?
If you know yourself, you know your will.
Yeah,
I was going to
so.
say something like that, that meditation, it often is about, or at least part of it, shedding all the BS constructs that are not our true will or true self, right? So we can more better approach our what should be our true calling type of thing.
Yes.
You know, what I find fascinating is this is 29 pages, right? So this is a whole I don't want to say convoluted, but I can't find a better word for it, of getting to this point. But if you find a 5-year-old who their imagination hasn't been restricted, they could do this like that. It's not even a second thought. It's something that comes natural to them. So what you said, Ethan, about stripping is stripping the stuff that comes onto us as we get older, as adults, because people who achieve that, and I do believe people can achieve that, and we may or may not know that when we meet them, the first description that most people have for them is they have a childlike nature. It's easy for them to achieve this. What he said, most of the participants couldn't achieve in a week. A kid could probably achieve in an hour.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
If they sit still.
It makes me think too of like Plotinus. He's always talking about stripping what's alien to you. It's like, you know what's true to you when you see it, you just have to see it, I feel like.
Yo, did they actually use that word too, right? Alien?
Yeah, they do. Yep, alien. He says it so many times.
Yeah, and it's just like, oh, what the I don't know. It's weird seeing it being used back then.
I know, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
All right, I think it's music.
Yes. Yeah, here we go. And then after that, we got the conclusion. We're done. Motivational aspect. It is a step-by-step procedure which involves repetitive practice of the techniques concerned, using each new insight as a means of penetrating farther during the next practice session. But the rate of progress is so much faster with the gateway approach than it is with transcendental meditation or other forms of mental self-discipline, and its horizons seem to be so much wider that the discipline needed to practice it would seem to be within the means of even the impatient, result-orientated, skeptical pragmatist of our society. That's like I had said too. There were certain, I feel like, visuals or even physical feelings that came on a lot quicker during a meditation using these tapes. Unlike yoga and other forms of Eastern mental discipline, Gateway does not require the infinite patience and total personal subservience to and faith in a system of discipline designed to absorb all the individual's energies over most of a lifetime. Rather, it will begin to produce at least minimal results within a relatively short time, such that enough feedback is available to motivate and energize the individual to continue working with it. That's applause. Indeed, the speed with which an individual may expect to progress seems less a function of the number of hours spent practicing than it is a question of the speed with which he or she is able to use the insights gained to release anxieties and stresses within both the mind and body. I think it's interesting that it says that right there. These points of energy blockages seem to provide the principal barriers to achieving the enhanced energy states and focus of mind needed for rapid progression. The more compulsive, the more uptight the individual may be at the outset, the more barriers he or she will initially encounter to achieving a deep or immediate experience. But as the insights begin to come and the blockages begin to dissolve, the way ahead becomes increasingly clear, and the value of Gateway moves from the status of a matter of intellectual assessment to one of personal experience. Deep stuff right there.
This actually supports what Ethan just said about the stripping away.
Yeah.
Right. The release of mind body tension, or what exactly the word was, but yeah.
No, I thought it was actually very interesting how it did say like sometimes I really do think like that's all it is that stupid bullshit that like is stuck in your head. Like clearing that out, I really do think is a huge difference with having a magical experience.
I had a point of skepticism there just because it said it takes so long with yoga and Eastern arts, and we do it so immediately and quickly. I'm like, well, I don't know. You could kind of do all this at home too, right? And there's the I mean, it's an Eastern expression, but there's the idea, the quote: "You should meditate 20 minutes a day." If you do not have time to meditate 20 minutes, you should meditate 1 hour. And it's if your mind is so busy, right, that you can't keep track of things enough to meditate 20 minutes, then you need an hour of it. But I just mean my point of skepticism is that I think a lot of these things are actually accessible in other practices, not necessarily as fast or as systematic.
Thank you, sir. All right, Ethan.
Okay, right. Conclusion.
If you don't want, I can help you finish it or whatever.
Oh wow, yeah, we got to, because this has got a whole alphabet,
like a page and a half. Yeah, it's like a.
We'll all mix it up. I'll read a bit here. Conclusion: there is a sound rational basis in terms of physical science parameters for considering Gateway to be plausible in terms of its essential objectives. Intuitional insights of not only personal but of a practical and professional nature would seem to be within bounds of reasonable expectations. However, a phased approach for entering the Gateway experience in an accelerated mode would seem to be required if the time needed to reach the advanced states of altered consciousness is to be brought within more manageable limits from the standpoint of establishing an organization-wide exploitation of Gateway's potential. The most promising approach suggested in the foregoing study involves the following steps. A, begin by using the Gateway hemisync tapes to achieve enhanced brain focus and to induce hemisphere synchronization. B, then add strong REM sleep frequencies to induce left brain quiescence and deep physical relaxation. C, provide hypnotic suggestion designed to enable an individual to induce deep auto-hypnotic state at will. Someone else want to continue? The D.
Impressive. Yeah. I'll go. Use auto-hypnotic suggestion to attain much enhanced focus of concentration and motivation and rapidly progressing through focus 12 exercises. Then repeat steps A and B following use of the auto-hypnotic suggestion that an out-of-body movement will occur and be remembered. Repeat step E to achieve facility in gaining out-of-body state under conscious control. And then alter hypnotic suggestion to stress ability to consciously control out-of-body movement and maintain it even after REM sleep state ends. G, approach focus 15 and 21 objectives. Escape from the time, space, and interact with new dimensions from the out-of-body perspective. Judith, you want to go? I'll let you
Oh,
go.
sure.
I'll cut you off too. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
That's all right. H, use multi-focus approach to solve problem of distortion in terrestrial information gathering trips. This approach involves the use of 3 individuals in the out-of-body state, one viewing the target object here in time-space, one viewing it at focus 15 as it slips into the immediate past, and one viewing it at focus 21 as it slips from the immediate future. Debrief all 3 and compare data gathered from the 3 points of view. If care is taken to ensure that the 3 all go out of body together in the same environment, their consciousness energy systems should resonate the sympathetic oscillation. They can tune in to the same target on different planes, dimensions, with greater effectiveness. I, encourage pursuit of full self-knowledge by all individuals involved in the foregoing experiments to enhance objectivity in out-of-body observation and thinking, and to remove personal energy blockages likely to retard rapid progress. Did I say that right? Retard?
Yeah.
Okay. And J, be intellectually prepared to react to possible encounters with intelligent, non-corporal energies forms when time-space boundaries are exceeded. K, arrange to have groups of people in focus 12 state unite their altered consciousness to build holographic patterns around sensitive areas to repulse possible unwanted out-of-body presence. And L, encourage more advanced gateway participants to build holographic patterns of successful attainment and rapid progress for advanced colleagues to assist them in progressing through the gateway system. If these experiments are carried through, it is to be hoped that we will truly find a gateway and to the realm of practical application for the whole system of techniques which comprise it. I'm sorry. It sounds like a ritual to me.
Yeah. No, it does. Yeah. There was a lot of stuff in there that I was saying earlier that just even reminds me of stuff, techniques of ritual magic. Let me pull this.
It's good that it has a little summary there that kind of brings it all up there at the end.
I feel like they went further even in that summary than everything that's described in the paper. Like having like a group of practitioners, like kind of
working
I don't
together.
know whether you would say banish or whatever, like these intelligences that might come along basically. Like I don't know if I read that right. I think so. Like, that's not talked about in here. Some of that definitely isn't talked about in this paper.
Yeah, it was even when I talked about what viewing it from the future, or going into the future, and going into the past, and then what is
Yeah.
that was I remember. I was like, oh, what's that? You didn't say that earlier.
Yeah, that arrange to have groups of people unite their altered consciousness to build holographic patterns to repulse possible unwanted presences. Like,
I've always been taught whenever I was at a meditation practice with other people that the meditation energies, if you will, are much more powerful when people are together. And one teacher particularly would always quote a biblical verse about when, I think Jesus says at one point, when two people are together, I'm there, type of thing, like I forget exactly the quote, forgive me, but it's it does get more powerful, and sometimes, and things do take time, right? But like the meditation effect, I feel like is comparable to the runner's high. Like you will get effects. It takes a minute. I feel like this my skepticism of the whole thing. It's like, oh, you just kind of like selling like a quick way to do it type of thing. It does take time, even if it may be 20 minutes to get the runner's high type of kick.
There's been people that I've known that were into the occult kind of and ended up getting into running or whatever, were already into running and then got into the occult and meditating. They had even said that, well, for one, they didn't have breakthroughs until it was almost like they put their body into this meditative state to where they can go farther. It's almost like they just like I've even had some people say to me they don't even realize their legs are going anymore almost, but you are. But like some of the I've had, I think I even had the person on the show a few years ago where they talked about how like even just their experience, like where their mind would go sometimes as they're running. From like going into a meditative state, there was like some wild shit.
The funny thing that you would compare it to running, because one of the things in running, when I used to run track when I was in high school, once you got your breathing down, that's when you fell into that state. So it's funny that you can make that comparison, because when you're meditating, the first thing you focus on before you start going anywhere else is your breathing. You have to get that under control, which is control of self, and it falls right into.
Even with certain breathing techniques, I'm sure probably even Ethan's even heard of this stuff. Maybe even ours. I think there was even one time some dude that came to the lodge. I don't know if you were there, and he was going on about like some type of like breathing technique that he was trying that like kind of almost gave you some like almost like otherworldly like experience. But I have heard of like certain breathing techniques, just breath work can actually get you fucking a little loopy.
I think I was
It
there.
can give you a lot of energy and cool you down even too. American Citizen X dropped the quote that I was looking for where two or three are gathered together in my name, there I am in the midst of them. Matthew 18:20. Pretty cool quote. When considered in the form of like energy and meditation, it's really neat.
So what do you guys think about the Gateway Project? The tape. What do you think? You think it's bullshit? You think it's real?
I definitely don't think it's bullshit. I just remain skeptical that there's not other ways to do it. That's all. And I'm being skeptical as I am. I'm like, I want like the real deal. Make sure like it's 100% certified, not bad messaging or whatever.
Yeah.
I always get like with the one point it just mentioned like mind is the ruler, and it's just like I always just go with mind without additives. Sorry to blather on.
No, don't be. I was just thinking like what do we know about this Monroe guy? Like, is this something that's like, was this, it's patented by the government? Was this something that the government sought out and like he got like a bid off of a contract? Like, because then it's like, I don't know. Like, obviously, anything that the government is involved with, it's like you have to maybe be a little more selective, but I don't know. Like, especially like what is the messaging in the tapes? I'd be really curious about the actual phrasing when they're doing the like hypnosis stuff.
For sure. Definitely where I'm coming from too. But I think a lot of the principles are quite applicable, even if you just do it yourself. Like the patterning and these imagination or visualization tools are certainly powerful.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
I take it as legit, and my viewpoint on it is I see it as science catching up with mysticism and ceremonial magic. It's basically, this is a step forward. It's not concrete in my view, but this is a step forward to going to people who are skeptical, who are skeptical on whether magic is real. It's a step closer to say, we have scientific proof. We could scientifically prove that these people are not kooks that are sitting here doing these practices and these ceremonies that they've been doing for ages. There's something to this. We're applying the science there. I'm not saying this paper shows that we're there, but if you think about it throughout science, at one point, the kooks were doing it first, and then here we go, we're applying scientific math to it. So this it's not there, but it's getting there as far as I see. As for, like Eero says, yes, I'd like to see what documentation they have from the experiments, but I think we'll be long gone before they let that go out.
So true, Judith. I love that.
I will say, when I first came across this, when Lux brought it up and we covered it, and I read this, I'm very much like what you're saying, Judith, is that like even from just certain things in there and from when I tried the tapes, just how I felt, I was like, this is like kind of like a little bit of science, like explaining magic. And again, it doesn't necessarily have to be from that way, because I had my experience before I ever knew of the Gateway tapes. You know what I'm saying? But I was like, yes, I was like, we're kind of going in like what you're saying. We're going in that direction. It's just this is on one brand. You know what I'm saying? In one way. But yeah.
But you guys did bring up something I wish they expounded on, and that's the extraterrestrial part. But we have a few decades before that happens.
Well, I don't know. The way the world's going nowadays, fucking UFO might land on the fucking White House lawn.
Do you think they really want to land here right now?
Oh, it doesn't even have to be real. We CGI and people will think it's fucking real. Yo, that shit worked over the radio with War of the Worlds.
That's true.
You didn't even need visual proof. Yes. People believed it was happening.
War of the Worlds changed broadcasts in such a huge way. I don't think people understand. That's why they have to have that disclaimer because of War of the Worlds and everything else. The AI is going to cause that again.
Yeah, I think so. But yeah, that was fun. That was great. I'm glad we finally finished it. I was getting a little worried. I was like, shit, I don't know if we're gonna be able to finish it. Yeah, that was great. Judith, thank you so much for joining in on that.
Thank you for having me. This was a blast.
Yeah, no, it was really good. It's funny. I had told her, I was like, because I thought about asking her on the second one, but I was like, I don't know if she's like into this, like this is her cup of tea. And you're like, oh no, you're like, I'm totally down. I was like, all right, yeah, that's great. So yeah, I really appreciated the stuff you had to add. You know what I'm saying? So thank you very much. Dude. We're gonna wrap it up, I guess. So I'll let everybody plug their shows and advertise their stuff. Eros, let's go with you first.
All right. Yep. Thanks for having me, and it was great to hang out with you guys tonight. You can find me on YouTube at Eros Up, and you can find me on Twitter or X at Eros to Ethos.
Listen, thank you so much for joining us. And thank you again for the topic. It was a great time. And Judith, please let everybody know where they can find your amazing YouTube channel.
Oh, thank you, and thank you for having me. This was a blast. I
It was.
had fun sharing this side of my personality. You can find me on YouTube as the Loon, and you could also find me on X as the Loon as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And Ethan.
Nice. That was awesome as always. Really, really fun to explore that. Ethan Indigo Smith on all the social media, and I appreciate anyone who wants to communicate. And books and writing are easily found too if you look them up. About a couple articles on Occult Research Institute. Or is that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that. Yeah, definitely go check out all his books. He's got a fuck ton of books that he has. He's a prolific
Obsessive.
writer.
Obsessive.
Yeah, he does write a lot. So go
Not
check
quite
out.
at prolific level. Yeah, a few more maybe.
Yeah. No. What would they say before? You got to say you are, and you will become one. So that's how we.
Yeah, right. She's right. She's
Project
right.
the hologram.
Right?
Prolific is a writer.
There
of
you go.
books. Not yet necessarily prolific.
You got to be a prolific writer. You got to. That's going to be a hologram now. So, and living somewhere
Yeah.
new.
Yeah, totally.
Gotcha. Yes, I got you all. Right. Yeah. All right. I'm pretty stoned now, believe it or not, by the end of the show. I was hitting that vape. Wasn't paying attention. Thank you all. I had a really great time. Thank everybody in the chat. I appreciate it. Even you, Vince. I appreciate all your comments that you put in there. That's what's up. Yeah. And until the next one, everybody be well. Later.